Have you ever felt invisible because you're quiet? Have people mistaken your silence for weakness? Or assume that if you don't speak the loudest, you have nothing important to say? What if the very thing the world underestimates is actually your greatest advantage? This is the story of Elias, a boy who never tried to outshout anyone, yet earned the respect of an entire kingdom. His journey proves a timeless truth. Real strength doesn't always raise its voice. Sometimes the quietest soul carries the deepest wisdom. In a peaceful village beneath the walls of a magnificent royal palace lived a boy unlike anyone else. His name was Elias. While the other children competed for attention, Elias never felt the need. He wasn't interested in proving himself through arguments, showing off his strength, or becoming the center of every conversation. Instead, he spent hours beside a winding river. He watched the water flow around smooth stones. He listened to birds greeting the sunrise. He noticed how the trees bent with the wind without ever breaking. Every day, nature quietly taught him lessons no classroom could. Most people didn't understand him. Why is he always by himself? Does he ever say anything? He's probably too shy to stand up for himself. The louder children laughed. Many adults underestimated him. Even some teachers believed his silence meant he lacked confidence. But Elias never argued. He simply smiled, thanked them for their opinion, and continued living the way his heart told him to live, because he had already learned something that many people spend their whole lives trying to understand. Silence isn't empty. Silence is where wisdom begins. One bright spring morning, the peaceful village suddenly came alive. Royal banners fluttered through the streets. Trumpets echoed across the valley. King Aldrich himself rode into the town square, surrounded by shining knights. Behind him, 2 royal guards carried an enormous wooden chest wrapped in golden bands. When the lid opened, hundreds of gold coins sparkled beneath the morning sun. The crowd gasped. Families imagined new homes. Farmers dreamed of richer fields. Children stared with wide eyes. King Aldrich raised his hand, and the square became silent. "My people," he announced, "our kingdom needs more than brave warriors. It needs leaders with clear minds, patient hearts, and sound judgment. I am searching for one young person worthy of learning inside the royal palace. The winner will receive this treasure and become an apprentice to Lord Cedric, my royal advisor." Excitement spread through the crowd. Nearly every boy stepped forward. Each one believed he deserved the prize. Standing quietly near the back was Elias. Several boys laughed. "He'll never win. He barely talks. Maybe silence is his only answer." The crowd chuckled. Elias simply waited. The king continued, "There will be 3 challenges. Only the one who combines wisdom, courage, patience, and humility will earn this honor." The journey began beside a powerful river swollen by recent rains. There was no bridge, no boat. Each contestant had to find his own way across. The signal sounded. Chaos erupted. Some boys sprinted straight into the rushing water. Others pushed each other aside. Several jumped onto slippery rocks and quickly lost their balance. The louder they became, the more mistakes they made. Elias didn't move. Not at first. He studied the river. He watched floating leaves drift with the current. He noticed where the water slowed around hidden stones. Only then did he step forward. Each step was careful, balanced, intentional. He never rushed. When he reached the opposite bank, he was calm, dry, and uninjured. Many of the others arrived soaked, exhausted, or bruised. Lord Cedric quietly smiled. "He doesn't simply look," he whispered. "He pays attention." The next challenge led everyone into the palace gardens. Thousands of colorful flowers stretched beneath towering trees. Hidden somewhere among them was a single rare white blossom. The first contestant to find it would move on. The boys rushed in immediately. Branches snapped, bushes shook, flowers were crushed beneath hurried footsteps. Everyone searched faster. No one searched better. Elias remained still for nearly a full minute. Some people assumed he had given up. Then he noticed something no one else had. Butterflies. Instead of wandering through the garden, they gathered around one peaceful corner where the air was cool and undisturbed. Elias quietly followed them beneath a canopy of broad green leaves. He found the white flower, perfect, untouched. The judges stared in amazement. "How did you know where to look?" Elias smiled gently. "When everything becomes quiet, the world begins to reveal its secrets." Only one challenge remained. Inside the grand royal hall, silence filled the room. King Aldrich sat upon his golden throne. Candles flickered across polished marble floors. Each remaining contestant would answer a single question. The king asked, "What is more powerful than a sword, yet never makes a sound?" One boy answered, "Gold." The king shook his head. Another replied, "Strength." Again, the answer was rejected. A third confidently declared, "Victory." Still wrong. Finally, Elias stepped forward. He bowed respectfully, closed his eyes for a brief moment, then answered in a calm voice, "Patience." King Aldrich leaned forward. "And why is patience stronger than a sword?" Elias replied, "A sword can force obedience. Patience earns trust. A sword may win a battle. Patience can prevent one. A sword changes what people do, but patience changes who people become." The room fell completely silent. Even the guards lowered their eyes. King Aldrich slowly rose to his feet. A smile spread across his face. Then he began to applaud. One by one, everyone else joined him. The following morning, Sir Rowan, the royal messenger, gathered the entire village. He unrolled a long scroll. "By the command of King Aldrich, the winner of the royal challenge, the recipient of the treasure chest, and the newest apprentice of the royal court, that is Elias." The crowd erupted. Some celebrated, others stood speechless. The same people who once mocked his quiet nature could hardly believe what they had witnessed. Elder Thomas smiled. "The loudest voice is rarely the wisest. Sometimes the one who speaks the least has been learning the most." Years passed. Elias became one of the kingdom's most respected advisors. Kings sought his counsel before making difficult decisions. Generals asked for his guidance before entering battle. Families traveled from distant villages just to hear his advice. Remarkably, he never became louder. He never chased attention. He never needed to, because whenever he spoke, people listened. His words carried weight, not because there were many of them, but because every one of them mattered. Maybe this story isn't only about Elias. Maybe it's about you. If you've ever been overlooked because you're quiet, if people have mistaken your calm nature for weakness, don't let their opinions become your identity. The strongest trees don't grow overnight. The deepest rivers make the least noise. And the wisest people usually spend more time listening than talking. You don't have to compete with every loud voice around you. You don't have to prove your worth in every argument. Let your character speak. Let your actions answer. Let your patience become your reputation. Because confidence doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it quietly changes lives without asking for recognition. If this story meant something to you, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever been underestimated simply because you were quiet? Share your story in the comments. Someone reading it today may find the encouragement they need. And if you enjoy meaningful stories filled with timeless life lessons, subscribe and join us for the next one. Until then, remember this: the world often notices the loudest voice, but it is the calmest mind that leaves the deepest mark.